From EPAWA Weather Consulting, headquartered in North Whitehall, Pennsylvania, this is Weather Weeklies, an informative video of the ins and outs of weather that affect you most in the EPAWA coverage area. The thoughts and opinions expressed in this video are those of the forecaster alone and may not reflect those of the staff of EPAWA Weather Consulting LLC as a whole, nor its constituents. Now, without further ado, here is meteorologist Bobby Martrich with Weather Weeklies.
Hey, good Sunday morning to another edition of Weather Weeklies for Sunday, January 27th, and in this video I am going to keep it real with all of you, and there's several reasons for that. I'm not canceling winter, but I'll tell you what, there's some things looking forward that aren't really looking that great or as great as we thought it would be a couple weeks ago or a couple weeks before that, and man, snow lovers are not liking it right now. I understand that we've had very little in the snow department, and you're looking at this date here being January 27th and not really that great of an outlook going forward. You're even seeing in our long range that we put out on Friday, you got this below average period through about the 3rd, but then you got this slightly above average 4th to the 10th. You know, what's this? Oh, well, it's coming. It's coming. Seems like nothing wants to lock in. You get these lobes of the polar vortex breaking off, and it gets cold and dry, or very little snow with it, and then it gets warm again, and then you get some rain system. And I guarantee you, between this 4th and 10th time frame, there's going to be some rain systems move in here, at least one, and then we go back to below average, slightly below average toward the end of the month, maybe. You know, that again, everything's always looking. As a long range forecaster, this has been very frustrating, and it looks so great. I mean, if I'm going back 2 weeks in time, or 2 weeks before that, and you're looking ahead, you're looking at something that looks very good, very promising, and you can only go with what you're seeing. I mean, the long-range signals are there, and everybody's like, well, the pattern didn't change. Well, the pattern did change, and it did change on time. This pattern change, we have it listed right here, the 24th. It did change on time, and that's the northern hemispheric pattern change, but that is up in the upper levels. It's not really affecting us here. I mean, it is, but in waves, not really locking in for a long period of time. We're talking about this next cold snap coming in the middle of the week, only going through the beginning of the weekend. After that, bye-bye, gets warmer again. And that's been the pattern. So I understand some of you are very, very frustrated with this. Some of you are rejoicing, and they're like, I don't want the snow. I'm with you. Everybody thinks we love the snow. There are people, I will say, some of our team members are big snow lovers. Okay, I'm not one of them. I had, for those of you who don't know, several years ago, I had an issue with my heart, some coronary artery blockages I had to take care of and get stented. I got news for you. Once you have that procedure done, you're really not the same afterwards, and cold really gets to you. Okay, and especially when you're out there trying to snow shovel, and I don't want to deal with it. I don't. So I'm not a fan of it. But I understand some of you are snowplow contractors. I understand some of you rely on this for income to sustain you throughout the year. Hopefully you have other things besides that to go through, landscaping and things like that, and you're working on things year round, and you're not just working in the winter and then hoping that carries you, because you're in trouble then if that's happening. Maybe you need to rethink that. But there's others that are just kids at heart, adults, but kids at heart. I get it. People love snow. They love when it's falling. It looks pretty. It's serene. It's a lot of different adjectives I can give you. I get it. I don't like it, so I'm not going to forecast. When you hear me saying, oh, wow, we're getting a really active period coming up here, it's not because I want it. I don't care. I really don't want it. All right, so I'm just seeing when I'm looking at something farther away and it looks so promising, it's because it's what I'm seeing. It's not because I'm trying to hype something, okay? I'm not trying to blow smoke up anybody's rear end. I'm not, and I'm going to keep it real in this video here, and you're going to see that. Okay, so you see, we did that with that week between the 4th and 10th going to slightly above average. I still think that happens. It looks like everything's kind of trending toward that idea. That was the European model guidance showing that. Now the GFS ensembles are locked in on that as well. But then it does have another resurgence coming after that. But again, we've seen this before. Well, wow, it looks really cold. Looks, here comes the snow. And then it never happens. Or we get it, but it's weak. Like we're going to have one of these Arctic fronts move through here on Tuesday night and a Wednesday morning. Some of you are going to get snow. I-95, don't get your hopes up. It hasn't been your winter. It just hasn't. And I don't know if that's going to be your winner. Here is the first and second system. We can scratch this off the list. This one here was a potential. We already said it was not a very good chance to begin with. We had a moderately low, actually shows moderately low chance. I'm going to scratch this off the list because it's going to come in at a time when it's very cold, and this is going to be suppressed. So that little wave is going to be way south and not affect us. This winter storm signal here between the 3rd and 7th is going to have to be perfectly timed. Because guess what? This week here, slightly above average. You're going to have something perfectly timed or perfectly tracked, or you're not getting anything here but rain. Simple as that. Okay? So, we still have the temperatures below average for the month. That's assuming that this post-January or February 11th period onward is below average. Now, can this happen? Sure, it can. I mean, we've seen this happen last year. We were sitting here last year, and it was the same thing. Same thing. We had very little snow up to that point, and then we had this hellacious March. It was ridiculous. Late February, early March, and actually most of March was ridiculous around here. I don't want that, because once we get to March, I'm kind of like, okay, let's go start transitioning to spring. All right, that could certainly happen again. So, I just don't I don't want to keep kicking the can down the road. I just don't want to do that and give you guys false hope if it's not there. There is potential there again, but we've seen this song and dance before. Right now, we're seeing the Madden-Julian oscillation sitting in phase 6. That's right out here. It is projected to slowly drift eastward with time, but it's going to take its time doing so. So you're not going to get it really. Here's a cold the phase 6 pattern. Is what we have currently. This is what it looks like typically in a phase 6 and a negative ENSO, which we are right now, phase 6. All right. So, but this is transient. This doesn't lock in. And that's why you're only going to see it through about Saturday, and we start to turn around here on Sunday of next week. Temperatures start to moderate, and they're going into the following week. We get a little milder. We get the milder period after February 4th. So then now the Madden-Julian oscillation projections are for it to go through very slowly, migrate into phase 7. Well, phase 7 is kind of like a in between. You can have some warm and cold periods. Okay, well that makes sense because we're going into a milder week, that 4th, 10th, but we're not going to stay mild. We're going to go back to cold after that. But you still have, in a phase 7, a very fast zonal west-east flow. Very little amplification. As a matter of fact, your amplification during this time frame initially is going to be on the west coast, and we're going to have a ridge. That's going to give us that warmth. Okay? That's going to happen initially in the week, 4th to 10th time frame. So, Madden-Julian oscillation is still running the pattern despite the fact that there's so much going on with the stratospheric polar vortex, and then the tropospheric polar vortex in response to it didn't really help us too much. It's coming in waves. But it's not like we're locking in like it originally was the thought. Never are you going to see those stratospheric events work out the same way each time. And, we're seeing that this year. It just doesn't want to lock in. All right, it is great. I mean, up in Canada, they're loving it. Not here. Okay, so as far as the pattern going forward through February, this is still in flux here. I mean, it's kind of heading in the right direction here. So by the time you get to, this is going through February 9th, you're over here. February 9th is right here. You're right here in phase 7. Does that continue into phase 8? I don't know. Does it go to the circle of death? We don't know. I'm not going to guess here anymore. If it gets over in here in these areas, then yeah, we got a chance here late winter. And I still think you have that opportunity. You have some things that are showing the favorable. So I'm not going to just throw in the towel yet. Not yet, but I'll tell you what, I'm getting close. Now here's that wintry potential on Tuesday. Looks like it comes in during the afternoon, and it's coming in at a time where it is marginal in the temperatures. Here's your 32-degree line. It's like way, So these areas up in northeast PA, north central PA are all snow. Okay, further south, you get some light rain. You can see that all in these areas. Here's the light rain right here because it's a little milder. All right, but as you progress through time and go late afternoon, that Arctic front moves through. Rain changes to snow in the areas that were rain. All right, so you get some light stuff here, not a lot, but you get some snow, enough to get rid of the brown dirt-looking ground right now. All right, this is going to stick around, whatever falls, because it's going to be cold the next couple of days. Brutal, in fact. Probably doesn't melt until you get past Sunday. So whatever falls does stick around. And here this Arctic front goes all the way to the coast as we progress through the evening. And here's the latest NAM projections of snowfall. Now, again, don't get too excited with this, but this is something. This is something. Now, you see some bullseyes up here. You got one here, you got one here. I think that has the right idea of maybe seeing greater than 4 inches. You're probably in a I know it's showing more here, but this is probably a 3 to 6 inch area because these areas in the higher elevations are going to stay all snow. The lower elevations, these areas right here, north of that line, I was looking at, well, I didn't draw that very well, but you know what I mean. North of this line right here, is 2 to 4 inches. And then getting up to just northwest of I-95, you get a 1 to 2 swath, which is right in here, northwest New Jersey. This goes up here, maybe Harrisburg, up to the Lehigh Valley, into northwest New Jersey. That's a 1 to 2 range. You still get snow showers all the way to the coast down here, but it really doesn't do much. Maybe a coating or so, coating to 1 inch if you're lucky. And that's it. That's what we're looking at into the overnight on Tuesday night, and then that's out of here. It's just an Arctic front. We were talking about maybe, do we have an area low pressure form along the boundary? Well, it does, but it does so late. And that was one of the possibilities we discussed in the daily forecast videos this week. So it is going to help New England a little bit. Not really going to help us so much. It's just an Arctic front passage. Once the cold air wraps in, you get rain changing to snow, and that's all you get out of it. That's it. And I think this is pretty close to what the actual will be. Something like this. Okay, so now again, a pattern change we were talking about, from the upper hemispheric pattern, it did in fact change. Okay, so it's one of those things where perception is reality. And I understand that people hear pattern changing and think, okay, well, that means we're going to get rid of rain now, and we're going to make it all snow. And maybe I did a bad job of conveying that message. Okay, as a matter of fact, I know I did. So sometimes it works out that way, that you have a sustainable pattern, and we look at ones in the past that set up similarly, and they were more sustainable, and they lasted for a long time. This is not going to be sustainable. We're going to have these big, brutal shots come in, and then here is that week between the 4th and 10th, and you're back to above average, and you actually have a trough in the western United States and a ridging in the east, so you get well into the 40s, maybe even 50s. So it's warm that week, at least for 4 days of that stretch. It's going to be that warm. Okay, so maybe like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week or something like that. So it's going to be milder. All right, and we just can't lock into this whole brutal cold idea. And I'll tell you what, when you go down the line, it's showing encouraging signs again. If we get past February 10th, 11th, 12th, something like that, it goes back to cold again, and it looks like it wants to stay for a long time. I just can't trust it. Here's the next 10 days. This is all from that system basically coming in on Tuesday night, Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night. This is it. Your total snowfall. You guys remember the Rocky movies are about to throw in the towel? That's me right now. Okay, put my little face right there. Get ready to throw the towel. I'm close. I'm very close. Not there yet. I still think there is some chance, because we saw it last year, saw it in a few other past years, where you have this very late surge at the end, which nobody wants. I think if you're not going to have a winter, as far as snow is concerned, move on to spring. I'm one of those people, and I told you why. There's several reasons. That I'm getting older. Really, I'm not 12 years old anymore, so I don't care. Doesn't really do it for me anymore. So here's a summary. Light snow for the interior Tuesday afternoon through parts of the overnight. That's with the Arctic front only. There's no coastal enhancement that goes up in New England. Brutally cold temperatures and wind chills are expected behind the secondary front on Wednesday, and then Thursday is going to be brutal as well. Actually, Wednesday night you're going to be below zero in some spots for low temperatures, near zero in others, where those wind chills are going to be wicked on Wednesday, ushering it in with that secondary front, and then might have a few snow showers with that too, but not a big deal. Actually, speaking of that, you might even have a few of those today, but not a real big deal there either. I think Tuesday afternoon through the overnight is when you have your accumulating snow, and then we have a moderation period late weekend of the following week. That is looks like it's about a 6 or 7 day period. And then as far as winter cancel, towels at the ready, but I'm not there yet. Again, not looking too good. This is all mostly from that storm coming in Tuesday into Wednesday. That's going to help the interior areas, but again, it doesn't really help I-95 too much. So you guys down here in Southeast PA, South Jersey, Delaware, parts of Northern New Jersey are like, God, wait, when is it going to change? What's going on here? I don't know that it does. I don't. We'll see. I'm just being honest with you. And, maybe we have some hope late February and March. That can still happen. So I'm not throwing the towel in yet, but I'm sitting here. That's me. I'm holding it. Get ready. All right. So I'm not going to, blow smoke up your rear end and explain, this is all going to change. It's going to be great. I've seen many times where it looked great this winter. Great. And it looked like, wow, just be patient. Wait another 10 days or 14 days. It's going to be great. And then it doesn't happen. Again, the pattern did change. We didn't blow that forecast about the pattern changing. The pattern did change. It's just not helping us here. It's helping some parts of the country, just not helping us here. And it's not setting up the way it was supposed to, or at least the way it looked a couple weeks ago. So we'll continue to follow this. Again, this is going to be our short-term focus. We will have to put out a map for this because we are getting accumulating snow in the interior and parts of our area. So we'll continue to monitor this, put out some map guidance for this. And just as going forward, we're going to have to play it by ear and see what happens and see how we transition. I know we are going into this period of milder temperatures right here between the 4th and the 10th. So that looks like a layup right now. And you probably can expect a rain system in there, at least one. I wouldn't expect too much wintry that week. But once we get past that, still hope. You go to Euro weeklies and things like that, some longer range stuff. They are showing this below average, slightly below average in this period, and some increased snow chances toward the end of the month. But, I don't want to, again, I'm not going to keep kicking the can down the road. There is hope there. So if you want to hold on to that, by all means. I'm telling you, towels at the ready, though. All right. I'm not liking what I'm seeing right now in the short term. Everything looked great for the beginning of February. Doesn't look great right now. So I'll continue to follow this and give you my best shot at this going forward. But I just don't want to give false hope to anybody out there, if that makes any sense. I'm EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Marchers. That is this edition of Weather Weeklies for Sunday, January 27th. Join us again next week, and we'll probably be starting this warmer period at that time. But maybe we'll be able to have a little bit better of an outlook going forward into past that second week of February and see what we're dealing with. Take care.